This is Farah Tanis from Black Women's Blueprint. I invite you to join us at the Black Women's Truth and Reconciliation Commission on Sexual Assault on April 28 to May 1st, 2016 at the United Nations and the historic Riverside Church in New York City. I want to start with a quote, and this quote is by Dr. Judith Herman. If any of you have read Trauma in Recovery. And as stated by Dr. Judith Herman, whether or not they are visible, the wounds sustained in rape are as inevitable as gunshot and shrapnel wounds in warfare. The symptoms resemble that of combat response, like those experienced by men engaged directly in hand-to-hand combat in war. This is just to really provide a frame for thinking about sexual assault and thinking about rape today and its impact, and thinking about it within the context of a war that just didn't begin today, but that started long, long ago when we talk about Black women and we talk about African American women. So the Black Women's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which I'm about to talk about today, is the first of its kind, again, as was said, to focus on Black women and their experiences with rape in the United States. An independent body led by civil society. It was launched by Black feminists and womanists right here in the US, and it is a bold, it is an innovative and groundbreaking move by Black women across generations, ethnicities, sexualities, and other identities to confront the ever-shifting nature of rape culture and sexual violence against us in this country. The specific goals of this commission are to examine the history, context, causes, and consequences of rape on Black women for the purpose of healing and transformation for survivors, to engage community in new and effective responses geared towards accountability through targeted, relevant organizing towards systemic change and advocacy on the particular laws and policies that continue till this day to encourage or contribute to the high incidences of rape against Black women in their communities. So let me give you a bit of historical context, because the past is ever present. The sexual exploitation of Black women in this country, not everywhere, but in this country, has its roots in slavery, with the wholesale government-sanctioned rape of Black women for various purposes, for production or reproduction. Then when Blacks tested their freedom during Reconstruction, former slaveholders and their sympathizers used rape as a weapon of terror to dominate the bodies and minds of Black women and the rest of their communities. That history is real. It happened. It cannot be erased. We know it. It lives in us. It's been passed down from generation to generation. The landscape has also changed for Black women, as both statistically and according to anecdotal reports, approximately 80 to 90% of sexual assaults that occur today are intra-racial. So it is happening in our communities. It is by those we love, by those we protect, and those with whom we live, which complicates the story. So today, when we look at the intersections, we also know that for Black women seeking justice, whether through grassroots restorative processes, or if a survivor so chooses, through the legal system, we face a relatively more difficult time seeking those resources due to gender, due to race, sexuality, gender expression, economic, and other status. For Black women, sexual stereotypes and sexual representations force us to navigate in a system that shames us and shapes our experiences as victims. So our contemporary accounts, recent accounts, still reveal that there is a lack of justice when we do choose to seek justice, namely the rights of crime victims against racial and sexual discrimination in the courts and in the legal justice system. There are drastic disparities for the attainment of justice. A rape or multiple rapes can jeopardize women's economic well-being, often leading to homelessness, unemployment, and conversely, poverty. Living in poverty, unsafe housing, insecurity increases the risk for sexual violence. And so there is a natural connection and a natural link that should be made between those working on the issue of criminal justice reform community accountability, and anti-poverty work. We see these things as part of the primary prevention that needs to occur. So there is a critical need for the public process offered by truth commissions, combining participatory research, documentation of our lived experiences, providing victims a public platform, holding harm doers accountable, strengthening the rule of law, effectuating institutional and systemic reform, and promoting economic justice and criminal justice reform policy. Thank you.